see where I am?
Yes.
I'm going to show this other theme first to give y'all an overview of UX. I'm not going to go through all of them because I won't bore you to death. I just wanted to show you, if you guys get into UX, it's a lot more than just the user interface design. You have to do a whole case study for each thing. And you'll have to do this not just to get a job and show you know the whole process, but also as you're working for a company, for the stakeholders, or even if you're freelancing, you need to explain every little step because that's how you get paid and that's how they approve you doing the work. So you have to explain the projects with the whole overview. You do problems, goal statements, and how long it'll take, duration. Every step needs to be really documented. And to get a job, you really have to explain that you know how to do that. And if you work on a team, you will do a slideshow for each and every project, and you'll just delineate who had what jobs. So in this, I did everything myself, which you would need to get a job. But you can also show collaborations. And if anyone wants to work on anything collaboratively, especially speaking to you, Mohita, I would love to do something like that with you. If you would love to collaborate, that would be fantastic. We could do a project together. Anybody else wants to jump in, that would be fantastic. So, of course, awesome. Well, now I'm seeing a chat popped up. I don't know why it didn't do that before. That's awesome. So this whole thing is you make assumptions before you do research. You're like, this is what I think people are going to want, what they're going to be into, the whole premise of why you think there needs to be this app. And then you do your research and you see if you're actually correct. So your assumptions that change, you document all of that. You document pain points and what problems people have. Like if you're using an app and you get really frustrated with it, that would be a pain point that needs to be fixed and solved. It's all about problem solving. It's not just design, it's fixing issues. So you go in and you do an empathy map and you put yourself in the place of a user, not a designer. And that's the beginning of design thinking, is really empathy. So there's this whole format that you learn how to do that, but what someone says, thinks, does, and feels like frustrated with hard to read websites because of maybe low vision issues. And that's going to be really a big thing, is accessibility, because most of the world does not have perfect vision. Yet a lot of programs and apps are made for people with good vision. So that kind of inclusive thinking is really huge. So you make personas with the different users, you kind of boil them down into a few different people, and you come up with a person, you give them a name, a whole creative writing kind of thing. And you define that and what their problem is and what they need to solve. You go through a whole user journey, you map what it would be like for them to go through this app with their frustrations, the things that make them happy or not happy. And you try to represent everyone in the group and boil them down to people. So you really get like 3 personas that would represent your entire population of users. And you do the same thing for all of these people. And then you do a competitive audit of everything that's out there. You go and look at all the different direct and indirect competitors, and you study them, and you take a whole spreadsheet documenting everything about them. And because you don't want to recreate what somebody's already done, and you really want to fill a niche that hasn't been filled. And yes, exactly. The persona doesn't have to be a real person. Exactly. It's not a real person. They're stock images that I used. So you could even use AI now. And you're just giving it a fake name and a person. And so one persona might be like 100 different people boiled into one. So yeah, okay, cool. So here's the value proposition statement. And after the competitive analysis, you realize what would be really good. So here are virtual fitting rooms. All the competition, there wasn't a single virtual fitting room. Recall screening, nobody had that. So those are your top analysis. And then the other things that would really make your app good, why it should be made and why stakeholders should invest and pay you to make this app with all these cool changes. So you go to the next part of the process, and it's user flow, what people would be doing to go through the process. And every little thing means something. It's standardized, like circles and rectangles. It's all standardized for all of UX. It isn't just a made-up symbol. So you learn that. And my storyboards, I need to come back in and redo the imagery. But I just threw them in. You do a big picture, kind of like you would do with video, but UX has its own specific thing, and you're talking really about emotions and settings where they would be using it. So this is a little old lady using it in her house, and this is Caroline. That was one of the user personas. Then you do a close-up storyboard, and it's really how you use it and how you would go through and change the screens and the path for that user journey that was shown earlier. And you give scenarios for the whole thing. Then you do the information architecture. It's really the left brain part of it and how your app is designed and how it flows. You do wireframes, and these are drawings with paper and pencil. It looks like ink, but that's just because the way it's scanned in, and that's what I'm gonna have to do to get the storyboards looking better. But you just do a bunch of different designs and play with it and just see what really looks great. You mess around with it while it's cheap and on paper, and it doesn't have to look that good. I actually used architectural stencils, but they actually have UX stencils just for this. Then rapid iteration, you take some of the best, and then you're like, look, I like this part best and this part here. And you kind of circle really what things you like. And if you're working on a team, that's really great because you can say, you know, we really like this part on this person's and this is on the others, and really kind of formulate what your next digital wireframe will be. And that's what you do in like Figma or Adobe XD. Really, Figma is the most popular right now by a gigantic majority because they're kind of phasing out XD. They're not supporting it anymore. But you really kind of do this and explain your thinking. Anything with an X over it is an image or a video. And lines stand for text, but that's a hamburger menu up there. So you kind of just give a basic overview of it, and that can totally change. So you put all that together, your digital wireframing, and again, you'll be adding more and more screens as time goes on. So you do that in Figma, and that's what we're going to be working with later today is Figma and making little screens. And these long ones are how it scrolls up and down. And side to side, this long one here, that would be scrolling left to right. So it works different in XD with the scrolling, but in Figma, this is how it works. And then to do a lo-fi prototype, you kind of make this blue spaghetti and connect everything where if you click on this, it goes to this screen. You click on this, it goes to this screen. Click on this, and so on and so on. And that is what makes your working prototype that someone can come in and there's your user flow. So I can play that. So you see how it's scrolling, what I was talking about earlier. It is an actual working lo-fi prototype of your wireframes. And this is what you're going to need in feasibility testing because people will come in and they'll be like, this was really hard. What does that mean? Where does that go? And you can change that before you do all the work of a mock-up and high fidelity prototype with all the colors, and it saves you a lot of time in the long run. It's an extra step, but it really is helpful. And again, at each step, stakeholders are approving it. So your first usability study, because yes, you have to do more than one, you have a study plan, and you can either do moderated or unmoderated, which someone can use it if they record themselves, so you can do it 3 a.m, or you can do it like an interview on a Zoom call and ask them questions like, why are you having trouble with this? Or what do you think could change about it? And you document all of that in another spreadsheet with your major research questions. So then you get your findings, you put that in, and then it's time to refine the design. You make a design system, and this is when it starts to get fun because you're really doing the branding and making the logo and the designs. And this is kind of like a sticker sheet that people can copy and paste. So especially if you're working on a team, this sticker sheet, this design system, and that's something we could do for our group too. You just go and copy and paste and plug it into a new screen. So this keeps it all uniform, and you have your colors there with the hex codes. So you really have an idea of what it needs to look like. And you can add to it over time or change things. So there's the wireframe to mock-up iteration according to the first usability study and the changes that needed to be made with that. So you can see a little bit of changes here. On that first fit room, I went from little buttons for each size to typing in the sizes and going with sizing charts. So that kind of developed, and then instructions on how to do that, because apparently it's not as intuitive as I thought. So that's the thing, as a designer, you're gonna think, well, it's obvious, you go here. But then you do a study and they're like, I have no idea where to go. And you're like, ooh, I need to fix that. And that's why UX is all about problem solving. So we have your value proposition manifestations. This is a value proposition of the virtual fitting room. I did a 3D design here, and that is the virtual fitting room, and she will whirl and twirl, and you can change it and either use an avatar like this ballerina, or you can put your actual measurements in and your image, and AI will make it your body type wearing those particular outfits. So you can see if it's too tight or too loose, and it's just like being in person. And that would have been great during the pandemic. A lot more people are starting to do that, but it's still, and I did this one last summer, and a lot has changed just since then. So accessibility concerns, and that's what I was talking about, vision. So you define what you're going to do about that, and you really say how accessible it is according to different standards, different guidelines, and what your goals are. There's some mock-up screens, so you go a little bit forward with that. And each of these little pictures is a button. It's clickable and it goes somewhere else, and they all scroll. So your huge mock-ups, do you have a code for this app too? It's not fully live, it's just a prototype right now. So it can be seen on Figma, but it hasn't been debbed yet. But it would be cool, I think, to actually make it a real business, because there's still no better competition. And they're still missing these value propositions. They're still there. So if I could get funding for it, it would be quite an interesting real business. And part of why I did the design like this, fun and young, is based on that research. That's what people were wanting it to look like, a children's boutique, but online. So you can see how these mock-ups grew from the original wireframes, and they got much more complicated, and I realized I needed more screens. And that's the whole point. And you're not going back and trying to add them before. You're just really going, okay, and this is what I'm missing, and this is how it evolved. And you're being really honest and upfront with that, with each step. And the spaghettis get more complicated. We love blue spaghetti, but this is how the prototype works, is all of these connections that you put in make it work for a user to come in and start pushing buttons. And there is a live prototype where you can literally click. There it goes. So that is quite a difference from that original wireframe with all the grays. It looks a lot more real. It's getting there. And this is what somebody can actually go through with a touch screen or their mouse and really interact with it and click buttons. And it's usable exactly like an app. And it'll even pull up in a phone on the Figma app. And it looks exactly like it's a real app, like you're ordering. So you can really see if there's any flaws or anything that needs to be changed. And then there's the dancing ballerinas. I did stop motion animation for that, but that was before AI was doing all the video. So I could even go back and iterate on that just to make the prototype better. Like magic, yeah, it was pretty cool. So there's some problem solving for that, because nobody taught me how to do that. So that was fun. So then you do another usability study. And so if you don't like research, you can work for companies where each person has a job, where if you just want to do UI, the visual design, you can do that. And if you really just want to do research, if you're really left-brained, you can be a UX researcher and just do this part of it. And in some places, you'll be a generalist and you can do every single job. So it really is good for you to be able to just come in and really do the job you want to, but still acknowledging that the whole process is about problem solving. So as a designer, that is so much a part of your journey, and it informs what you design. It's not just making things look pretty. It's about making it function for people. So talking about the usability study influence, what I had before versus what I changed afterward. And then you give your takeaway. My thought here was speaking about the degree of vision loss and why there's a need for a more accessible app, and none of the competition had that, especially for young people and older people and grandparents who are using it. There's a really big market out there that people are missing. You talk about what you personally learned on your journey. You talk about next steps, which would be development, which we're talking about integration and more testing. Because once it's done and made and into the world, you don't stop. You keep iterating upon it and keep making it better. So all those times when you're frustrated with an app, like you're wanting to fix stuff, that's the process. It never ends. And then you say how somebody can contact you, and you thank everybody for your time. And to get a job, you have to go through this. And what's very interesting is you will also have to probably invent an app like what we're doing right now, live in front of people, and explain what you're doing and explain the process. So you have to know it inside and out to be able to get that job. So we have this little guy here. Does everybody have full access? Are you up on Figma to play with it?
I have full access.
You do? Awesome. Okay, so we are on Figma. Wants to edit, approve. Okay, here we go. Awesome, y'all. So this is our little prototype. Oh, look at everybody. So y'all need to make your own screens. So do you see where my little cursor is? Down here at this bar at the bottom? I'm gonna need y'all to speak up. This little guy right here in blue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So click on it and we're gonna make, each person is gonna make their own frame to play with. So what you do is you click on it and then you just drag and drop and make a box. So you all are each gonna make a box and then we're gonna double click on it and type in your name and that's your box. Very cool. We all have different colors, so that just makes it fun. If you guys end up doing like digital media production classes, you're gonna have to be doing this. So I don't know who all is doing that, but it's
Why
really
does my
good.
box look differently?
You can change your box styling. Let me click on mine and you can play with it. Do you see?
I see. I'm thinking I clicked on the wrong button to create a box. What button was to create a box again?
This hashtag that says frame.
See, I clicked on the square. So I'm already.
Oh.
All right, let's get rid of the square and go to the hashtag. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a region tool. So this little guy here, and if you get off of it, all you have to do is click your name then, and you can make it like a little bigger. So I can do that to try to show more. So this little guy, I made this little star by clicking this little thing here. You can make any shape you want within it, and you can even make a shape to put an image or a video in it. So if everyone wants to make a shape, oh, Andrew's already going at it. So you can change it and warp it and do all kinds of things you want to with it. And there's little tips and tricks that if you put shift or control, you can keep it steady and flip it and do whatever you want on it. You can maintain the aspect ratio, like if you do shift and move it. And the controls are a little bit different than Adobe. So when I'm going back and forth, I sometimes get a little tripped on that, but that's what Control Z is for, and just undoing it. That's cool. We've got colors, we've got shapes, we've got a little face. I love the Halloween face and the arrows. Okay, so that's great, y'all. So you have your pen and your pencil tool. You have text, so you can type things in there. Andrew's already doing that. He's using Lorem Ipsum. We can comment and annotate on each other's projects, which is really good. So if you're working at 3 a.m, we can totally be like, hey, that's really cool. Or what do you think about making that red instead of blue? And we have all these plugins now and widgets that you can do. And little quick things, flip horizontal, kind of the same things you do on Adobe, masks and rasterizing and all of that. And then some pretty cool widgets and stuff, color contrast checkers. So that's there. And this changed a lot. And this is dev mode. Boom. So that is when you hand it over to a dev, they will use your file and they will make it go live with all the coding stuff that I've been having to do in my digital media production class. And then you just switch right back and you have designer mode. So making notations for everything is really important, and just making faces with the pen. This is great that y'all are having like fun with this. Oh, and there's Maddie down there. I just had to make my screen smaller so I could see everybody's stuff. So
Sort of line. I don't know what I did. Hold on.
it's fun to play with though. So you can go do the hand tool too and start moving things around. So I'm gonna put in another box while y'all are playing around. And what I'm gonna show you is it kind of goes to gray and you go over to the right, it says fill when you click on it. So you can do that and make a box and fill an image or circle or whatever you want. You guys have made shapes. So go over and just highlight it and it'll be encircled in blue and it'll tell you how big it is, which is really cool. So if you want to change the dimensions, you could do it to the exact pixel. If I want it to be 400 by 400, it'll change it. And then you can move that little guy around and it has the same kind of snap to grids as Express. So what you want to do, go to fill and like 3 things over, they'll say image and it changes it to a transparent background, that little checkerboard, and you can upload. Okay, Daniel's gonna step away. I'm so glad the chat is showing right now. You can totally fill it with an image and you can fit it to the image or crop it, tile it, and you can even change exposure, contrast, saturation, temperature, all of that right within Figma without even having to leave anything. I think that's pretty cool. And you can put a little video in there too and actually make it work. Oh, we have a cat from Mojita. That's adorable. so cute.
That is so cute.
This is really cute, isn't it? So really, there's a lot of fun things. So she was playing around with, you can hit linear when you're doing to fill the color and kind of play with that gradient. And you can literally manage it however you want to. So that's pretty fun too. And if you want to even put an image in a star, you can have at it. Boom. So completely fun stuff. Does anybody have any questions while we're going?
How do you link 2 pages together?
That would be the spaghettification that I showed you earlier in the prototyping thing. And see, as I get bigger on this star, the more colors are showing through. So you can change and adjust it. So that would be the prototyping. In the top right bar on the right side, you see design. And then next to it, you see prototype. And you can switch over to prototype mode. And that's when you'll see like scroll with parent or fixed when you want to leave something at the top or whatever. Trigger clicks, you have actions there. Can you see when I click on it now in prototype mode, it makes a plus sign? You will take that and you make a spaghetti off of it. And I am going to click to mojitas. And action is on click or drag or hovering or pressing a key, a gamepad, mouse in or mouse leave, up, down. You can navigate to it, scroll back. So if you do a back button, it scrolls back to whatever previous one. This is destination mojita because it's her screen. Animation could be instant, a dissolve, smart animation, pushes, slide in, kind of like when you're doing video with like Premiere Pro, those transitions, or in Adobe Express. It will have those kinds of animations that make it look real. So this little guy here is clicked from my screen to mojitas. So if I want to change it and I go, I was supposed to go to Maddie's, I can click on it and literally move it over here and boom, it's on Maddie's. I can also change states. It gets a lot more intricate. And then I can go back to Mojita with a drop-down box in an instant. When it gets all really complicated and it's too hard to find to click and drag when you're like, I can't tell which spaghetti's which, you can literally do the drop-down box and it'll be super easy. So you can even click on other people's stuff and move it around. We'll try to be respectful. Sorry, Maddie, that was just an example. But
This is so cool.
Isn't it fun? It's really a lot of fun to play with and see what you can do. I'll switch back to design mode. You can also plug in if you want a new screen to fit a certain iPhone edition or a web page. You can go with a specific brand and edition. Like if you want an iPhone 15 or whatever specifically to design for, you can do that. And when you put it in the prototype mode, it will totally go to that and will show your design within that frame. So people are using it and it'll be the right size for the modern prototype. If they have their own phone of that edition, it will fit in there. So you don't have to play with measurements. It'll do it out totally for you. Any questions now that we've played around with this a little bit?
So when you're like tying things together, it can get kind of intricate, right? Like as far as like what goes where and the order of things.
Yeah, it can get really confusing. One thing is you really can open this up really wide and zoom in, but I think that drop-down box is just, do not know how to get the scrolling up and down. I'll come to that in a minute. Is clicking on nodes and then re-hitting it. And like if you are wanting nodes for one specific screen and it's really confusing, you can click on that screen like I am now. I'll click on my name here. Say that's a screen, home screen. And then you can see what all nodes are coming off of it to be able to know where it's going and limit it that way and then only click on those. Because really, the bigger the build you have, the more screens you have, it will get a lot more complicated. So I think that's just a matter of practicing and getting more used to it and taking the time. So Mojita, what were you asking about with the... I'm not getting all the chats, it turns out. I'm leaving part of that. Okay, scrolling to work up and down. What do you mean with that? Do you mean like making the screen bigger and wider? There's a little bar that appears at the bottom. No, you don't mean that. I'm not getting all of the chat. I'm getting some of it. The scrolling that you Oh, that's when it goes to a full prototype, and you have to have the spaghettis in place to do that, and buttons and things to click on. That goes to prototype. I can show you guys, and if we want to step away for a minute, I can show you how that works. Yes, okay. Oh, that's a cute little picture, little boy. Waylon, is that his name? That is adorable. A good job putting a picture up there too. That is awesome. And the cat, and we have like McDonald's down there on Andrews. We have a little pumpkin. We have our leader guiding the way on that. And we have Daniel's very methodical. Oh, wonderful. The shapes and the lines, very linear. So that would be really working toward an app feature app. You guys, look at the artistry there. Okay, so I'm gonna step away if you guys wanna go and we can come back to this. I'm gonna show you how to do, and then answer Daniel more about the spaghettification thing. So I'm gonna go back to files so you guys can watch the screen sharing and stud up for just a second. So we'll show spaghetti and prototyping. I have several of them, but here's the one I was showing you earlier. Can you guys see it on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is what it looks like when you prototype it and after you make the spaghettis and everything. And you can literally click on any of these and you can show how it goes. And when you're doing this, you can see how somebody's interacting with it. I have a touch screen, but I'm using the mouse just so you guys can see it. And what happens if somebody clicks through when a button is clicked there. So that's that scrolling thing. And that is only happens when you do all the connections. They're called nodes, but you know, they're blue spaghetti. But you connect those nodes and then you're able to go to this, and I built toggle buttons, so that's kind of cool. And all these screens have to be connected. So every little screen that I'm going to, and there's the back button that I was talking about is a connection node. Everything like this has to be a node. I clicked on this button and it'll go to this, and that's a node. And every little one of these is a node. You click on it and that goes to that. So that's where you get to that is the prototype. I'm going to show you the nodes now. And you can see I did the information architecture in here also. I just went ahead and built that and used a screenshot to plug into my slides. And some things I used other Adobe programs to do the user journeys and stuff. And I did different spreadsheet apps or PowerPoint, any of the Google Slides or anything that'll work. So you end up using a lot of stuff to create your things. So this is the full prototype, and you can see the screen where when I'm running over it, it's automatically selecting stuff. I'm not clicking on anything. It's just like automatically bounding it in a blue box.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So when I go to prototype over this, see, there's the design I was talking about. And then when you go over to prototype and you click that, boom, that's all the spaghetti work I did. These are all individual nodes. Be careful when you scroll in that you don't accidentally erase something. So I'm gonna try really hard not to mess with my prototype. So when I was saying you go, and this is a node right there, that little plus sign is what you do and go and connect it to something else. So right now it's connected to the virtual fitting screen when I have select for fitting. There's what I was talking about. If you click on that, it'll show you these screens and take some of the other spaghettis away. You won't see this bag screen spaghettis, you'll only see this screen. So that makes it a little less complicated. And you can click on individual ones and then go, okay, so this one, and you just click on it with the left, and then you have your options that I was kind of explaining here. Like there's all the different screens it could go to. So if it's really confusing, you're like, I can't even scroll it over, I'm just gonna go and do the drop down, it'll be easier. So the bigger it gets, this is the better option. And you can change it like that. So when it's really little, it's easy to drag and drop somewhere. For the scrolling to work, should the rectangular boxes be outside the phone frame? That is a phone screen right there. That's one screen, your profile screen. The phone frame comes up automatically when you choose. So choose prototype settings. I'll go to the right here. I chose iPhone 15 Pro. So that's the size of each screen, this rectangular box here. And I just filled everything with these elements, like the baby photos, those rectangular boxes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can show you that. So in prototype mode, these little, like a baby box, this little guy, it's its own bound box. And that's what I did with this shape down here. I made a rectangle and I rounded the corners, but that's still a rectangle. So I put a line around it. I did that with the design, but these little nodes here, little plus signs, you can make a node off of any one of these. So that would go and you trigger to that. And then it's connected. And then boom, let go, and it's not. Does that make sense here? And these go off the screen because it scrolls that way, but I connected them. That's a whole other thing. But when you go to prototype, you choose the frame and then you can play it from there. And it'll show you live whatever update or change you made. Let's see. Going back to design, like this little guy here, trying to show you with all the little clicks. I made that with individual ovals. And I just duplicated them with a Control D. And I made a bunch of ovals. And then I made a square line. And that's how we came up with scallop, which by the way is back in this year. It is one of the premier shapes. Not too long ago, it was like chevrons. We go through phases. So right now it's scallop. So I like hit it early. But you can make that kind of shape with anything. So this little baby box here, that is when you click on it. So you make your little rectangle, and I filled it with an image. So the stroke is the outside line, and you can change how big if you want it to the inside, outside, how big you want it. I put a drop shadow on it. And I made the outside corners rounded, and you can set what degree you want that. You can really make any shape you want in these. You make your own buttons too. And you can make instances so you don't have to keep making them. Like when I made the toggles and I showed you on and off, I made those with a no yes toggle, so I coded it. It's different than making a node, but they are kind of noded. I can show you that in prototyping here. They're noded to each other. So when I copy and paste one of these guys, and put it in a box, you click on one, it'll just go to the other automatically. So that's how the prototype ends up working, and how a button, once you click on it, will turn dark. I have noded them to each other, connected those nodes. And like the heart for light becomes pink when it's connected. And that's, again, you have to make an instance, and it has its own little frame. And you just cut and paste and put that in somewhere. And instead of making a new header for every single thing, I just made and that's why they're different in purple, because they're like an instance. And if you change that, then you can put them anywhere and only have to do this node once. So this little icon right here, this logo, if I just make a node that it goes to the home page one time in this, and I copy and paste this into everything, every single time you click on that, it'll automatically connect to the home page. So it saves so much time. And you want to start with your splash screen, which is what you get to when you first click open an app, and then go to home. And you don't want anything before that, and kind of make it in kind of a line of what the journey would be going to the right. But really the most important thing is to do your initial screen called the splash screen, and then your home screen. But nothing goes beyond that, and you can set where you start that journey. And so that's where your prototype starts out on. So you kind of dictate where you want things to be. Does that answer your question at all, Mohita and Daniel, with the nodes? Does that clear up anything? Or do you still have questions?
Yeah, no, it definitely is a lot, but I give you props for that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. If you don't need to do it unless you really love it. But also you can also just learn it and then end up deciding you really just love one part of it and make that your job. So you don't have to do all of it. So if that helps. But you do have to know the whole process before you can even do one single job like UX research. You have to be aware of everybody else's jobs too.
Certainly. And it's really interesting to have it visually, the lines showing what page leads to what page. It's just interesting.
It's helpful. It does get kind of confusing, but it is helpful. And sometimes you have to backtrack. But that's where the usability studies come in handy, where if somebody's like, this doesn't make any sense to me, why isn't this working? You just go and fix it. So that's why really working with real people is totally helpful. So if y'all want to go back to the playground and then see what you want to do with that, I'm going to open it myself. Oh gosh, the time. I talked your ears off. Oh, cool. Maddie's warping her square and making some cool rounded shape edges. That is very cool. So Waylon is getting a stepping stone.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You're playing with it, and that's fun.
Yep, pretty much.
That's awesome. Okay, I'll show you what I mean later one more time. Okay. Yeah, we can play around and see. so I can have a better understanding of what you're looking for. Any other thoughts? I'm thinking we can do a group project and really work with each other on it, and send each other notes and come up with something creative and artistic on here. And it would be a platform for all of us to really work together, because we've been lacking on collaboration, and we can do better with that. And so I was trying to think that this would just help facilitate that. So if you guys can think about it now that you've played with it, and you're welcome at any time to join up again and play with it some more, and think about what we could do as a group project, because we could do something over the course of the fall and just work on it a little at a time when we have free time, and add to it and really kind of make something amazing with it. So if you guys have any thoughts, we've got a group project going.
I think it would be really fun to build something where everyone gets new skills that will actually help them with whatever content creation that they want. So if there could be something like that, where everybody, even if you're into this kind of content creation or that kind of content creation, gets leveled up by you learning and doing this one collaborative project. I don't know what magic one it would be, but it's food for thought.
That's a really good idea. So something more like we have to make graphics in every class.
Yeah, exactly. Like every platform has certain things in common. What are those commonalities? And then we start working from there.
Okay, we should do something that helps propel the group. Do we want to do something like artistic or
Oh, we don't need to decide now. It's just something to reflect on for next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like we got 1 minute left, so bravo. I'm gonna find my emojis that clap here.
All right, here, everybody.
This was so fun.
Oh, thank you, Maddie. Thank you guys for joining. And we now have a Content Creators Playground, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody adds anything. Thank you guys for being a great audience.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, cool. All right, well, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic week, everybody.